We're back to the Neil Haley Show, and I'm excited to welcome first my co-host, Paul Hollis, author of the Hollow Man series and owner of Seniors Publishing and also Hollow Man Publishing series. How are you, Paul? And I know you're excited about our guest today.
We are, yeah, I definitely am. We not only have a great author, but also a playwright here in Joseph Rulli. So, Joe, you are going to tell us all about what you do and how you do it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So let's kind of just jump right into specifically enough why you want to be an author, and the playwright and all how did that all go? How that
Well,
start?
it really second life kind of thing. I had a pretty huge emotional breakdown in 2006. I was in Indiana and institutionalized for 6 months. When I got out, it was sort of like change needed to happen. So I kind of had to reinvent myself from education to I was also in ministry work. I was a Catholic priest. And so that option wasn't open to me anymore. Not due to any legal anything. Just the emotional breakdown just was so devastating that I agreed with the bishop that we needed a change. So I moved to Chicago, and one of my therapists in the institution had gotten me started writing, because I've always loved writing as a kid, but never saw it as a career opportunity. I was much more focused in education and later on then ministry. So when that wasn't an option, I dove into writing and just did it. Moved to Chicago in the fall of 06 and had a first draft, a very horrible first draft of a novel by June of 07, which I'm still sitting on in various other drafts. I started playwriting probably 2 years into being here as a really extension of my personality of really not craving the isolation as much as when I first moved here. And writing can be very isolating. I was craving working with other people, and a friend of mine, I worked at Trader Joe's to pay my bills until the writing can, as I tell people. So I started working with actors who I knew, both at Trader Joe's and other people I've met, started doing stage readings of my plays that I've written. I started writing, and now I'm much more comfortable with it. In fact, tonight I have a rehearsal with some actors. We're doing a stage reading at the end of the month at a small theater here. And so we're doing a read through tonight, and I cannot pay them, so I feed them. So
So kind of tell me specifically this challenge of leaving the priesthood is part of your book. The breakdown.
no,
The breakdown
no,
happened.
not yet. Everybody tells me I need to write one at some point, and it's probably going to happen at some point. I have a few titles ringing around my head. One is Man of the Wrinkled Cloth. So, we'll see. But right now, I have 3 books out on Chicago history, actually, Chicago labor history. One is called The Chicago Haymarket Affair. Another one is Chicago Socialism, which goes back to the 1870s to the present. And the third one that came out this spring is called Chicago Marching. It's a history of protest authority and violence since 1855 in the city.
Oh wow. Okay. So why? So you chose Chicago because you're in Chicago now, but you weren't before, right?
No, but I've always loved Chicago. I'm from South Bend, Indiana originally, which is an easy 2-hour train ride. So I'd come to Chicago since I was a kid. And then by the time I got to high school, my parents and my friends' parents let us hop the train and spend the day, like a Saturday day in the city. So I don't know if they'd let us do that now. I don't know. As things being.
So you're a Chicago fan of every Chicago sports team, right?
I'm really not. I'm not. I graduated from Notre Dame, and I'm not a big Notre Dame fan. I'm just not into sports ball that much. So.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Is intriguing for my listeners and viewers. Leaving the priesthood, how did you recover your life after the breakdown? Kind of break down how that worked and how you kind of got back to your life and how.
Well, writing was key to that. I really wrote through a lot of that, both in therapy and when I came out, but also just acknowledging and it helped. And over time, it took me probably almost 3 years to really be able to see it as, okay, this is a part of my own history that I took this path. I thought it was the path I was supposed to be on. And I'm not one to say it wasn't. I don't beat myself up anymore like I did early on about failing, about not being able to live up to it.
So life after the priesthood. What did you do? Or you have a day job and all that stuff?
Yeah, that's what Trader Joe's took on.
What do you do at Trader Joe's?
Oh, just everything. Clerk, cashier, wine guy. Yeah.
But it's got to feel great after what you went through, right?
It's really invigorating, and I've made some really solid friendships here over the years, and really part of the recovery was being able to pick my life back up. I still keep in contact with a few people from back in the days of priesthood.
Was that part of your breakdown, was the priesthood?
Well, a lot of it was probably stuff that I never addressed, really. I mean, I'm gay. I was out to myself and to some friends, very limited in those days. And that was a lot of it. That still sort of being closeted was still there. And then somebody outed me to the bishop, and that sort of was after my breakdown, and during the sort of questioning that came out to him. And those were back in the days where, it was just too much of a liability risk, shall we say, even though the vows were not broken,
right.
Laws were not broken.
What do you think the biggest challenge when we get a breakdown, like all the different things you look back, you said gay and being not in your identity was being hidden. You had faith in God, that's why you became a priest. Yeah. But what did you think that was the demons in your head that caused you not to be the person you are today?
I think a lot of it, yeah. That's just it, the demons. And I refer to those as, actually, it's my inner jackass is what I refer to my demons as, and the inner critic that makes my first drafts try not to be as horrible as they need to be as a first draft. But it's really been a long, I think, journey, if I may use a cliche, to beat down the inner jackass in me.
All right, you got to write that book. You have to write that book.
Yeah, thank you. You are not the first to tell me that. I know that. Yeah.
You need to start writing it now and get somebody to just do it and put it out there. I think that definitely the gay community would really be into that. If you had help, does that help you with some of your book sales? The gay community and stuff, would you say?
Well, Chicago has a very vibrant publishing past and also present in the community. Yeah. Yeah. And I have a really good relationship with I wrote a satirical novel in 21, and my publisher is local for that one. It's Shy City House, published my novel called Bread and Circuses. So I don't know. I can't put his feet to the fire on here and say, oh yeah, he'll do it.
Well, I'm just telling you right now, based on you could become a creator on social media, tell your story, and you'll go viral. I'm just telling you, yeah. and become a creator, make money. There's so much opportunity.
Yeah,
your story, the community would just absolutely flock to the story, man. And that might be the first thing you do is make that money. Then you get a huge publisher to jump on you. Yeah. That's for sure. That would be me as a marketer looking at. Where can people go buy your books? Where can they go? What's the best place, man?
Well, the 3 history books are through History Press. The link is on my website. My website is Rulli Writes Books, but Writes is spelled R-I-G-H-T-S. Rulli Writes Books.
All right. I love it.
And then also on my website is the link to Shy City House, my publisher for the novel.
Were you in the priesthood in South Bend?
Fort Wayne, South Bend was the diocese, so the whole northeastern corner of Indiana.
Okay.
I did some parish work in Elkhart, Indiana, and Fort Wayne.
All right. Appreciate it, Joseph. Take care, sir.
Oh, you guys are great. Thanks a lot.
All right, you're listening and watching the Neil Haley Show. We'll be back in just a moment.